Alright, hopefully it's working. I guess I should do a volume check. Alright, there it is. Last time we glitched out. I don't think that recording's salvageable, so we're going to try Bible Exodus chapter 5, verses 10 plus. And start out by reading Wycliffe the Patriot. But the crucial issues came up in Wycliffe's life in connection with political problems, and is so often true of the affairs of men and nations. The bottom line was money. The trouble was that much of England's wealth was flowing out of the country and to the papacy. While this had been more or less true from the time England had come under Roman Catholic control, it was most emphatically true after King John delivered England to the Pope as the Pope's kingdom and received it back as a papal fief more than 200 years earlier. This was humiliating and intolerable to good Englishmen. The charge levied by the Pope was 1,000 marks a year, an almost impossible burden. But money moved out of England in other ways. Ecclesiastical offices were sold to the highest bidder, with the money going to the Pope. Many offices in England were held by foreigners who never saw the land in which they held office. Some of those officers were nothing but children, but they reaped the income of the offices after the Pope had been paid off. The Pope often moved bishops from one see to another, meaning the Holy See, S-E-E, and received 1 year's salary as part of the transaction. Can you imagine? Oh, can you move over to Kansas? We'll give you a year's salary, plus we'll keep paying you. Okay. Much money for the forgiveness of sins was funneled out of England to the papal coffers. In fact, the Pope received 5 times more money than the king. To add insult to injury, the money was going to a French Pope and eventually found its way into French hands, just like U.S. income tax goes to the English coffers today. And France was at war with England. England was thus supporting its enemy in the wars. It's all a setup. So intolerable did this become that Parliament passed a bill of indictment against the Pope, which read in part, God hath given his sheep to the Pope to be pastured, and not shorn and shaven. Therefore it would be good to renew all the statutes against provisions from Rome. No papal collector should remain in England upon pain of life and limb, and no Englishman on the like pain should become such collector or remain at the court of Rome. Into this issue Wycliffe was thrust. He not only became involved in the problem as a writer of pamphlets and treatises, but he also served on a committee of the king to meet in Bruges of the Netherlands with papal representatives to arbitrate, if possible, the issues. With patriotic zeal, he defended the rights of England against the papacy. Glitches out again. It was in Bruges that 2 important things took place which were to have influence on Wycliffe's later life. The first was the fact that, in dealing with papal representatives, he learned that they were a treacherous and deceitful lot, and that they represented a papacy which was wholly secular, covetous, immoral, corrupt, and a tool of French kings. He so completely lost his confidence in the papacy and hierarchy. In the papacy and hierarchy of the church that he had nothing but contempt and scorn for it from that day on. The second event of importance was that he met the Duke of Gaunt, which was in Bruges for other business, and who was probably the most powerful man in England after the king. The two became friends, and it was due only to friendship of the Duke of Gaunt that Wycliffe was not killed by the Romish Church. Now let's hear something of revealing God's treasure about Elijah's cave.
It is is extremely rare for anyone to obtain video of the mountain, since entering Saudi Arabia is very difficult, and they are guarding this mountain from those who would photograph it. Near the base of the mountain are the guardhouse and fence, which surround the area where many artifacts are located that help to authenticate the site.
Glitchy!
John chapter 19 states, "For the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city."
Right. That's what Ron Wycliffe. Ron Wyatt found. But you know what? My computer is glitching. So, that's it for now. We're going to get to a reading next time. Unfortunately, I'm thinking Acrobat might be the problem. The end.